Picture this. I hand you a time machine. We travel back to the year 2011. You're sitting in your old childhood bedroom. We still thought it was totally normal to pay 20 cents for a single text message, and the highlight of our day was a round of Angry Birds on a tiny smartphone screen. Suddenly, some random guy on a forum tells you about this magic internet money called Bitcoin. The price per coin back then? $3.25. You didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. We preferred to spend our money on junk that's currently rotting in a landfill somewhere. Why? Because nobody could explain to us what this thing actually did. We thought it was just play money for computer nerds. Let's fast forward to today. Bitcoin is the 9th largest currency on the planet. In just over 6,000 days, it has risen to become one of the biggest currencies in the world. What is actually going on here? Have we all lost our minds? Or have we just made the most important discovery since fire? Listen closely. Give me the next few minutes of your time. I'm not just going to explain what took me 1,000 hours to understand. I am going to show you why the money in your checking account is melting like an ice cube in the sun, and why Bitcoin is the only lifeboat that doesn't have any holes. Buckle up! We're diving deep. Before we talk about Bitcoin, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The thing you get up for every morning and go to work for. Money. Here is the hard truth your bank teller won't tell you. Money isn't real. It is a collective hallucination. Money isn't paper. It's not numbers on a screen. It is simply a concept. A tool so we don't have to barter like we're in the Stone Age. Without money, you'd have to walk into the grocery store, slam a sack of potatoes on the counter and say, "Trust me, cashier. These potatoes are worth exactly 3 cases of beer and a pack of diapers." That doesn't work. So we agreed on a medium of exchange. In the past, it was seashells or salt. Later, gold coins. Today, printed paper. We packed the value of our labor into these containers to store it and send it. Sounds great, right? Problem solved? Wrong. The problem isn't the medium of exchange. The problem is who holds the key to the warehouse. Every monetary system in history has had a backdoor. And standing at that backdoor are middlemen. Banks, governments, payment processors. They tell you we're keeping your money safe. What they really mean is we control your money. If the bank doesn't like your face, account frozen. If the government runs out of money, fire up the printer. This isn't an accident. It is a feature built into the system. They can abuse your trust simply because they can. And that is exactly why a burger costs $15 today when it used to cost $5. That isn't some mysterious inflation phenomenon. That is the devaluation of your life's time by people who simply throw more money into circulation. But wait, if paper money is trash, what about gold? That's the safe haven, right? Well, gold has a completely different problem. And this specific problem leads us directly to Bitcoin. Humans love gold. It's shiny. You can't print it. You have to painfully scratch it out of the ground. From the ancient Romans to today, gold is the absolute classic form of money. It works without trust. I don't have to trust anyone when I hold a gold coin in my hand. Physics doesn't lie. But try paying for your cappuccino at Starbucks with a gold bar. Hang on, let me file off a few dust specks for you. It doesn't work. Gold is heavy. It's slow. And if you want to send it to the other side of the world, you need an armored truck and security guards. We locked the gold in vaults and issued paper that said valid for 1 piece of gold. We reintroduced the trust problem. We had to trust the bank that the gold was actually there. And guess what? They did it again. They printed more paper slips than there was gold. Every time. Whether in ancient Rome or today, every time humans have the power, they cheat. So we are stuck in a dilemma. Physical money is honest but inconvenient. Digital money is convenient but dishonest. We needed something as honest as gold but as fast as an email. A digital gold that you can't counterfeit. And that is exactly what the smartest minds in the world spent 30 years breaking their teeth on. Why? Because of a little trick your computer is too good at. Computers are copy machines. That's their job. You have a photo? Click copy paste. Now you have 2. Great for vacation photos. Deadly for money. If I send you a file, I still have it on my computer. But if I send you digital money, I'm not allowed to have it anymore. Otherwise, I'd buy a car with the same dollar and then a house. This is called the double spend problem. Until 2008, there was only one solution for this, a central list. A bank. PayPal? We needed someone to look into an Excel spreadsheet and say, "No, Steve, you already spent that $50. But the moment you have that central list, you have a boss again who can block you or freeze your assets. We were running in circles until Satoshi Nakamoto showed up. He or she or this group didn't just invent a new currency. They made an invention as fundamental as the wheel. They found a way to keep a digital list that belongs to no one, but that everyone can trust. How the hell does that work? How do you get total strangers on the internet to agree without there being a boss? Don't think of the blockchain as complicated tech. Forget the jargon. Imagine it like a giant scoreboard in a football stadium. Mark sends 5 Bitcoin to Julie. Everyone in the world can see this scoreboard. Everyone has a copy of it on their laptop. If Mark tries to spend those same Bitcoin again, millions of computers scream simultaneously, "Liar!" The scoreboard says something else. Copy and paste? Impossible. The system is transparent. But here's the catch. A scoreboard needs someone to write the new score. Who gets to hold the pen? If we just vote on who writes, a scammer could create 1 million fake user accounts and rig the election. Satoshi needed a way to decide who gets to write the next page in the ledger in a way that is fair and costs real money, so scammers stay out. The solution is so brilliant that it turns energy into security. Welcome to the casino of mathematics. Bitcoin turns the recording of transactions into a global competition. We call it mining, but actually, it's a guessing game. Imagine you have a safe with a combination lock. You don't know the combination. You have to guess. 1. Wrong. 2. Wrong. 700? Wrong. Millions of computers around the world are doing exactly that. Billions of times per second. They are trying numbers, hoping to find the right combination. This is called proof of work. Why so complicated? Why this energy consumption? Because energy cannot be faked. You can pretend to be someone else on the internet, but you cannot pretend to have burned huge amounts of electricity if you haven't. When a computer solves the puzzle, it gets to add the new block of transactions to the chain. Everyone else checks it quickly. Yup, the number works. And boom, it is carved in stone. It is extremely expensive to cheat the Bitcoin network, but extremely cheap and easy to verify it. That is the trick. An attacker would have to muster more energy than everyone else combined just to change history for 10 minutes. It is practically impossible. But wait a minute. Computers get faster every year, right? What happens if a supercomputer comes along in 5 years? Wouldn't it solve all the puzzles in a millisecond and steal all the Bitcoin? No, because Bitcoin has a built-in heartbeat. It's called the difficulty adjustment. Every 2 weeks, the Bitcoin network looks back and asks, "Hey, how fast did you guys solve the puzzles? Was it faster than 10 minutes? Okay, then the network makes the puzzles harder. It builds the wall higher. Were there fewer computers and it took longer? Then it makes the puzzles easier. Whether it's one laptop or an entire power plant, Bitcoin keeps ticking. A new block every 10 minutes. Like clockwork. No central bank on Earth has this discipline. Central banks change the rules when panic breaks out. Bitcoin changes the difficulty to protect the rules. Okay, you understand the system. The blockchain prevents cheating. The energy secures the network. But why would you do it? Why do people set up giant warehouses full of computers? Out of the kindness of their hearts? Of course not. They do it out of greed. And Bitcoin uses that greed to protect us all. The person who solves the puzzle gets a reward. They get freshly created Bitcoin. This is the only way new Bitcoin enters the world. No bank handing it out to friends. Just hard work. But here's the absolute kicker. The amount that gets issued gets cut in half every 4 years. This means we know today, with exact precision, how many Bitcoin there will be in the year 2140. 21 million. Period. End of story. Think about that. We don't know how many dollars there will be next year. Spoiler, a lot more. But we know there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. If you own 1 Bitcoin, you own a piece of the pie that no one can ever make smaller. That is absolute scarcity. That has never existed before. It's like buying the last empty lot in Manhattan. Nobody can invent more land. That is the reason why Bitcoin has climbed from a few dollars to today's level over the last 12 years. Not because Bitcoin is getting more expensive, but because the paper money we measure it in is becoming increasingly worthless. Bitcoin is the rock in the storm while the flood of dollars washes everything else away. We are standing at a crossroads. On the left side, the old system, money based on debt. A system that punishes savers and rewards debtors. A leaky boat where you constantly have to bail out water just to keep from drowning. On the right side, Bitcoin. A system based on mathematics, to everyone. Strictly limited. Owned by no one and yet by everyone. This is not investment advice. This is an IQ test. Bitcoin is the first time in history that we have property that doesn't depend on the mood of a politician. It is a digital Swiss bank account in your head that no one can freeze if you do it right. And that is exactly where the danger lies. With great freedom comes great responsibility. Bitcoin makes you your own bank. But you know what? Banks get robbed. Banks lose keys. If you leave your Bitcoin on an internet exchange, they don't belong to you. If you lose your access, there is no hotline you can call. No one will help you. The money is gone forever. Does that sound scary? Good. It should. But don't worry. You can learn to be your own bank without sweating bullets. That is why the next video on this channel is perhaps the most important one you will ever watch. We are going to talk about security. I will show you step by step how to make your Bitcoin bulletproof so you can sleep like a baby at night.